so much for joining us here at Block Show Asia in Singapore. And as I understand it, we have an extension going on further that you're a part of. You just came from the main stage, speaking about government's influence with blockchain.
Right.
And were there any key takeaways that you found from the panel that you'd like to discuss to our audience? And are there any key takeaways that you really want to hit home and let our other interviewers know about Malaysia, about what's happening with blockchain applications and your progressive move forward?
Perhaps I can share with you some of the things that we've done in Malaysia.
Yes.
From the government perspective. So when we started looking at this space, we were thinking about it as a part of these digital technologies, a series of digital technologies that's coming out under the fourth industrial revolution.
Right.
So we've been alerted that from the studies that there's going to be what they call a convergence of these technologies. There's going to be a huge impact. There's going to be a game changer to the way we do things. Right. Not just in business, but also in the personal sphere of life. So,
what excites you about the personal sphere in life? Are there any specific things about the blockchain that you think that is really going to propel us forward?
Well, there's a number of global trends that's involved in all these things.
Right.
It's not just about it involves blockchain and DLT, but it's not only about that.
Right.
One of the key things that's going on right now in the world is that there's a blurring of lines between business and private lives.
Right.
And we know that there's like major players in the world, the FAMGA and the bad X now they call it, from China and stuff. So all these things will have a lot of impact on personal life basically, and beyond that business life. And a country like Malaysia is probably not the one who brings up the changes, or it could be like Alibaba doing that, right? The way they change transactional money and all these things. But interestingly enough, something like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and other applications of blockchain brings about a new perspective in terms of peer-to-peer transactions, as well what's called open source. So for emerging countries like Malaysia, Malaysia has 98% of the businesses in terms in the format of SMEs. All right. So I think if we can use this element of open source in terms of technology adoption, it will be the cost of adoption will be a lot lower than using proprietary technologies. So, and more interestingly, Malaysia has been trying to push for what we call industry-led initiatives in terms of developing markets and technologies. And this sphere actually has brought something new in that sense. The creation of Bitcoin brought about blockchain to the mainstream. And it's still being tested, and what I call a live test, live tested. The technology itself,
10 years, it's still in a live test.
Yes.
It's very true.
Yes.
Very true.
So, and it's open source, like anybody can do it throughout the world. If you have a better idea, come in and test this, and but it benefits a lot of people without having to go through a lot of course or but you need to learn. It's a very steep learning curve for people.
So how about the renewable energy sector? How are you guys looking at that, and are you welcoming companies in the renewable energy sector that happen to have anything with blockchain or tokenized economics tied to it?
I think we should be open about it for all the industries, but in terms of that, we MIND itself, my organization, the organization I work for, actually we encourage our what we call governing companies as well as the industries at large to try this technology, because like we said just now, it's work in progress. It's not there's no full stop to it. But rather than you go full full-fledged and then it changes. Just try it in small
little bites
and see how it works.
Right.
So one of the areas that we first tested this was actually in energy.
How do you have the results? How do you feel about that?
We have a company, the company that handles energy distribution in Malaysia is called Tenaga Nasional. Okay, it's government link. So they manage the energy distribution and stuff in Malaysia. What we did was we connected them to a company from Japan called Chinto. A lot of people know a lot of these companies that's coming out from the West, but we found like a few years back since that this company has done the same test successfully on the island of Kyushu and in a smart city environment, right?
Nice.
And since Malaysia is going towards that way, towards the smart city and applications, so we connected them and they actually did a trial earlier on POC basis.
Really?
It turns out that, in these more advanced countries, the test will be just plug and play. You just, it's just a software, right?
Wow.
So you just put it in. But in Malaysia, there's other issues like infrastructure and all these things.
Okay.
So they did try it, but they changed it a bit, and it's what they call REC, Renewable Energy Certificates. Okay, and it has been done successfully actually. So Tenaga Nasional is looking at the next stage on how
are you looking at agriculture?
Oh, there's a lot of things.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
I'm going to take like 10 hours to finish this with you.
Oh, please.
There's a lot of proposal that has come out to the Ministry of Agriculture in many areas.
Can you speak of anyone that kind of stands out from the others?
I think we have I can't mention anything in particular.
Okay, right.
Probably, NDA and everything, but we have a lot of special how shall I say, the products produced, right? Like mango in one of the states that's very special. Everybody knows it's good, like harum manis or durian. I don't know whether you eat durian or not.
Yes,
so we have this special thing.
China's going crazy, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's Musang King and stuff. So I think there's a lot of opportunities to actually brand them,
even logistics,
or certify them.
Exactly.
It's not so much of logistics.
Right, certifying, I like that.
I think somebody just now, Gang from Vietnam, actually mentioned this. I think a lot of these applications, blockchain is going to have to work with other technologies.
Right.
So if you're going to tag something like mango, you probably in Asia to make it cheap, you probably need to have a barcode, for example. So it's not the blockchain that's going to endorse your products in that sense, but it provides a secondary kind of verification.
Exactly.
That it was done.
Exactly.
And the QC will have to come out somewhere.
It's just another part. You know what? It's a more secure process.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I think if we understand that, there's a lot of opportunities to use it.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I got to say thank you so much for joining us.
Okay.
And before we go, can you leave a few parting words with aspiring technologists looking to penetrate the market in Malaysia? What would you have to say to them? What do you have to say to them?
I would say it's not just Malaysia, but the whole of Southeast Asia. I think so far a lot of news or approach to this sphere has been about what the supply side of blockchain can provide. Actually, the key, the critical matter in this is actually you have to look from the
inside,
the demand side. What does the country needs actually, and how can you help them to solve the problem that has not been resolved yet so far? I think a lot of in Southeast Asia, this is very slightly different than US or Europe in that sense. And I think if you can bring it up, way beyond like each individual countries, that would be so much the better.
Okay, well, those are fantastic words to part on. I thank you so much for joining me.
All right.
I look forward to absolutely speaking with you further. We know that there's an extension. You have an extension of what's happening with Block Show.
Right.
And can you tell me a little bit about that real quick?
It's what's going to happen is there's going to be what we call Iskandar Day on Sunday, on the 2nd of this Sunday.
Right here in
so
Singapore.
We are inviting all the participants of Block Show to actually visit the Iskandar in JB. Actually, it's just nearby.
Okay.
Half an hour.
How can they find out more information? Online?
Well, okay, should I?
You know what? We'll put that on the video for you. How about that? We'll drop it right here.
Oh.
All right?
Okay.
All righty.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.